Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to the last CryptoManiacs podcast of 2022. And I don't know about you, Tass, but I'm really pumped up for the new year because I'm going to be partying on New Year. I'm going to go to the club. I'm going to pop bottles. I'm going to sing. No, I'm not doing anything. I'm actually probably going to be sleeping. But don't worry. Everything will be fine. We'll make it through. What about you, sir? What's your crazy plans this year?
I think I'll put some data on the blockchain.
I was figuring something as exciting as that. So
Yeah, well, I have no friends. My family, I don't really like them. So this is what I do.
yeah, that's okay. Your social life is online, dude. It's okay. It's
No,
worries.
they don't even like me there, but that's okay. I'm a jerk, I know, but that's okay.
We put up with you.
I understand. I understand. It's nobody knows better than you the lengths you have to go to tolerate me.
Yeah.
Did you see my tweet? I was going to make a New Year's resolution where I was going to behave this coming year, but then I figured, well, fuck that. I know I can't do that. So,
I did you tweet this morning? I haven't
I
checked.
tweeted it the other day. I don't remember.
Oh, I've been
Or
wrangling.
maybe I thought about tweeting it and I didn't tweet it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
No, well, it's. Anyways, guys, no question and answers this week because we thought it'd be cool to do kind of a year in review slash we're excited for the new year end of the year special. So you guys got to put up with Task and I talking about how much we love Hive and all the projects on it for about an hour. You guys happy about that?
I thought we were going to talk about where the price of Bitcoin would go in 2023. We're not going to talk about that?
Yeah, well,
I figured you spent your Christmas doing your Bollinger Band on 2023 Bitcoin pricing for each quarter. I thought you had this all prepared and you had a slideshow and you made infographics. I thought you were doing a whole presentation on this. No? Did I get my date wrong? Is that next Friday?
Yeah, next Friday I'm doing
I got my
projections. My projections.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's okay, Harrington. We like questions. You can always ask them here. But
it doesn't mean we'll answer it, but
yeah, we'll ignore you totally in the chat. It's okay.
Remember, there are no stupid questions, only stupid people who ask questions. So
right. Yes. Yeah. Well,
yeah, what's your question? Come on.
Look who's sorry, go ahead. Look who's hosting.
Well, I was going to say, before we get on a roll, ask the damn question so we can answer it. And
ask the question, Harrington. Don't get tasked all pissy because he might rage quit. He might throw up some Bollinger Band.
I might go to Ethereum and reside there.
Right, enjoy your time in Ethereum.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. But no, I'm excited for the new year.
Let me ask you a question, John.
Yes, sir.
And I know feelings are bullshit, but anyway, do you get the same feeling I do where we've often forecast and thought ahead about Hive, but to me it has a different, and I'll use the term feeling, but I think we're getting real close to having things breaking through. 2023, there's a lot of things going on, and it just, unlike in years past where we could be optimistic and look at all we have going and maybe we'll be making some headway. To me, this really has the feeling that we pushed forward with a lot of development this year, and there's a lot of candidates to have a breakthrough in 2023, and I just get the feeling we're right on the edge of that.
Yeah, for me, it's and Harrington says what really is use case, and that's a really good point. When I'm on social media and I'm on Twitter and I'm hearing all this stuff about people, they're wanting Hive. They got all these questions about decentralization and they got all these comments about Web3 and blah blah blah, and it's literally defining Hive.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really cool is that, talking use case, we're now having applications that we can actually use that showcase what Hive can actually do. And it's not just theory. It's not just saying, CoinGecko saying, what's your favorite coin project of 2022? And people like putting up $ whatever token because what they got bags and they want it to pump. That's it. I can literally tell people what's my favorite token? Hive. Why? Because I'm going to go use Threads. Hive, because I can use content discovery with views. Hive, because I can use Peak instead of Medium to blog about whatever I want. Hive, because I can use 3Speak instead of YouTube. Hive, because I can use Vim. It's like there's so many day-to-day use cases for this project, and how many projects are on the blockchain. It's a wealth. You really can't get bored here. What's that?
Like it to.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I never use Instagram ever. You know what? I take pictures of my Rottweiler and I put it up on Like to all the time. My dog's even got its own account on Hive because I wanted to document her journey being from puppy to big dog. And where do I do that? I'm not doing it on Instagram. I'm doing it on Like to. Why? Because I can, and it's better.
By the way, John, I had to go change the mantra.
Okay.
The challenge, because you saw my post the other day and you mentioned 3Speak. So now anybody's bitching, just tell them, go out and post 2,000 videos on 3Speak and then come back and talk to me.
Dude, I don't know if we can do that, man. I don't even know where I'm at. I'll have to look, but I'm not 2,000, but I've got to be up there. Like I saw Cal go, I hit 400, and I thought that was a lot. It's like, yeah, it is for normal people.
So did he.
Yeah. Normal people think that's fine, but no, that's what I mean. Like, so Harrington, to answer your question, it's we can use this stuff. We can use the projects on the blockchain. By the way,
did you see Gadrian's post today?
No, I haven't. I literally just signed online. I haven't done anything.
Gadrian evidently is playing around with MySQL now, so he's pulling up all this data. Another DAO's in the making, I guess.
Yes,
but
of course.
He decided to look up his account and see when he entered something like missed post or something like that, and it tells the last day that a post was missed, and he had whatever days, a couple hundred or whatever. Then he did my LE account, and it came up like I don't know, like 800 or 600 or something. Then he did my my main account, and it was like 1,400 days since I've missed a day without a post. But I'm not the king. You know who the king is? Tara.
Pablo.
No.
Who?
Tara.
Oh, Tara P.
Tara KP. Tara ZKP. Like 1,800 days or something like that.
Wow.
So that obviously is pretty much from near the start of the blockchain. But this is what we keep saying. I mean, our year-end review is the basic mantra. John's been saying it for 1,000 years in the online marketing. Consistency, show up every day, create your content. And yeah, we're kind of saying tongue in cheek, but we're not saying tongue in cheek. I didn't get to where I was on Hive by posting once in a while. John didn't get to where he was on Hive by posting once in a while. Cal is a name that most people on Hive know. He's posted 400 videos. Now, in comparison, we're joking around, but that's a serious amount. And then the other thing is, how long did he post that in? He may have done that in the last year. So, this is, we live what we preach. It's not like we're telling you to go do this because, we're sitting back and pointing, and giving being dictators and just ordering people around. This is what we do. We're telling you exactly what the hell we do. And like John said, and I put out this on Twitter with Jimmy. And one of the reasons why we love Jimmy is, I basically said, if you're going somewhere, if you can use more apps on Hive than Jimmy Adamas, because he uses like 9 apps every day. And, that's why he's everywhere, because it doesn't matter what the app you go into, there he is. And, John uses, his Rottweiler journey is all on Like It To. It's on Hive, but he does that through Like It To. John and I and Jimmy are the biggest users of views. We keep just hitting that next button all the time. this is what we do. And we joke around about, well, I don't have a life outside the blockchain, but this is important stuff we're building. And there's a lot of other people who are, maybe not as neurotic as us, but they're committed to their own degree. And that's what really is required. And I'm sure, John, I've never gone through your training since 2001 or whenever you started, but I'm sure it was always the same thing. Dedication, commitment, motivation, consistency, mastery, improvement. Get in there, do it, and whatever you're doing, try to get a little better each day. And I've been going through some old posts, and I'll tell you what, I've been going through, because I'm linking Leo glossary terms, and I'm in the comment section on a well-known Hivian, not me or John. And I'll tell you what, this guy's posts in the early days left a lot to be desired. And I'm going through and updating a lot of my older posts and linking them, but I'm also doing some corrections, because views at some point is going to go back to the Genesis block, and all those old posts are going to start coming to life. And it's like, well, I just don't want everybody to know how bad I truly was. I'll spruce it up a little bit, and you'll still say, God, that was pathetic. I do it. That's called improvement.
Yeah, it's one of our programs over the years was +1, and the theory was to be better at sunset than you were at sunrise. So that was something we've preached for forever in our stuff. But one of the things you mentioned, and this is what I really try to hammer home, especially with my tribe, is that we actually use this stuff, and I want to be a product of the product. I don't want to just say, hey, go use 3Speak. I'm just saying that because it's part of Hive, and if you use Hive, everything in Hive works. It's like, no, go use 3Speak. I'll show you. I use it. It's there. I use it as multiple times a week. I'm always uploading videos there. Go learn about content creation. I did a post a couple weeks ago about formatting and different ways to break up your posts. So there's bullet points and pictures and images and make it look like I'm always trying to show people what I'm doing, because I'm nothing special. Again, I'm a high school dropout. I mean, I'm a nothing but for some reason I figured out that if you keep showing up, good things happen. That's it. That's the secret. That's it. And we have the blockchain here where we can use these.
Can we charge $29.99 for that secret?
Well, I'm selling it. Yeah, $49.97 is the price.
Only in HBD.
Right.
Take HBD, but let's package that and we'll sell it. The CryptoManiacs secret to lifelong success.
Yeah, it'll literally be it'll be a paywall, so you pay, and then inside it's going to have a big white screen and big black letters that say
"Show up every day."
Show up every day,
and get
Thank
busy.
you for your money. Yeah, that's it. And this is why I love Hive so much, is because I can go and take that message. I can tell people, hey, show up every day, and here are the tools that will help you show up every day and actually use this stuff. And like you said, I mean, 2023 is going to be great, because I made this post yesterday about focusing and what I'm planning on doing in 2023. I'm trimming the fat, man. I'm literally going Hive, HBD, and a few of the projects, obviously the CTP stuff, but a few other projects, and that's it. Like I'm getting out of a lot of this stuff because I really believe in the core of Hive, like the essence of it and what's being built here. That's what I believe in. It's really hard to find that in other crypto projects, but maybe I'm biased and have my blinders on.
Well, I don't think so, because I wrote a post this morning, which you didn't read.
I haven't. I haven't done it.
It talked about basically why I think, and what I was saying about the feeling. And I didn't mention it specifically, but obviously I'm very optimistic about views. And for a project that's less than a month old, I think that really works very well. And there's incredible opportunity in 2023 with that. I think there's incredible opportunity. One of the things I wrote about was Twitter. 500 million tweets a day. That doesn't count votes. That doesn't count comments. That's just tweet. I think microblogging on Hive, especially if a couple other applications tap into the containers that Leo Finance sets up, plus with Leo Finance doing their thing, I mean, why can't we get 0.2% of what Twitter gets? I mean, it's not. And if you think about that, think about the number of transactions, which right now transactions on Hive are about 2.6 million a day. This is the third most of any blockchain. So
Right.
just think if you all of a sudden, and Cal picked up on this and wrote an article himself. He said about 500,000 tweets, 500,000 threads a day. Right now, it's about 500. So that's 1,000x, which sounds unrealistic. But when you consider that's only 0.1% of Twitter. And then how many comments do you get? How many upvotes do you get off of that? All of a sudden, that 500,000 could turn into another 1.5 million. You could be looking at putting Hive at about 5 million transactions a day just off of that. And this is where the network effect starts to take hold. And then, of course, we have a few games. I mean, Splinterlands was the stud of the year last year, but, we really haven't gotten anything. But is CyberX the answer? How about Ragnarok? Maybe Hash Kings and some of these other things that have been floating around for a while and doing things. So we really have gotten to the point where there's a lot of things. And then you talk infrastructure, and we'll know more on Tuesday, but I'm very excited to see Starkers here talk about where they are going next year, because it sounded like, and we had to rope them in to not go into on last Tuesday's show, not to go forward. We wanted to recap, but it sounds like he has some exciting stuff to share with us, John. So, this is all stuff that's starting to come together, that if we look at back where we were a year ago, it was like kind of hoping and dreaming, and, views was still something in your imagination. Speak Network was, well, maybe we'll get something by the second half of the year. I was still waiting, sitting on pins and needles. It was going on year 2 plus of microblogging. And now this stuff's out. And, the hardest part a lot of times is to get version 1 out. The updates, that comes a lot of times easier than just getting the MVP out, because a lot of times that, like with views, Blaine scratched his head for a while, and then all of a sudden one day it came to him, and boom, everything fell into place because he solved the ML problem. Right. And it's like, oh, it's done. I just have a few different things and we can release it. So that's how things work. And I think that's really the exciting part about this is if people start dedicating themselves to Hive like we've been suggesting, there's no better time, because it looks like we're at the point where, since things are in our control and have been in our control the last 2.5 years, we're making progress. And a lot of the forecasts I made in 2017 were off, but actually my beliefs still hold. They haven't changed. It's just we went through, since that time, 2.5, almost, I guess it was 3 years of Steemit Inc. and Ned and all that screwy stuff. And then we had block trades take over the chain and the core developers, and they spent the first year just fixing crap. That was the point we were starting at.
Yeah. It's I mean, again, I'm excited. I'm maybe that's something we can go into now. Year in review for me. It's funny because we worked on so many things, but it really, listeners was this huge change. And, if I could go back and do things differently, I would have definitely emphasized the actual app rather than the tokenization. But this is crypto, and people go gaga over tokens rather than actual use case, the price of tokens rather than actual use case. But this is why I'm so excited about Views. I mean, Views was really the highlight of everything that I've been wanting to build on this blockchain for years, and it kind of goes into 2023. So maybe I'll ask you a question. What was your highlight of 2022, and then kind of transition into what you're most excited about for the new year on Hive?
I don't know if you call it a highlight. Obviously, Leo Threads coming into existence for me was your views, because I proposed that to Cal. I mean, when I opened up Leo Market Talk 2.5 years ago, and it was 2 years of, you know, just really getting nowhere. I mean, we got a lot. They obviously development team was moving ahead. It was just a major pain in the ass. Um, so I think microblogging come to the blockchain was a big step forward. I believe views was a big step forward, and I think I think it's real interesting that I'm choosing these two because I know Cal agrees with my mindset. I think you and Blaine are seeing my mindset. And what's real interesting is the ability of these apps to start incorporating other things that are there. And one of the reasons why I'm so optimistic about views is, quite frankly, nobody else can really incorporate that in there. I mean, I guess if they want to build something from scratch like Blaine did, then they can go ahead and do that. But that gets us into content discovery. That gets us into content distribution with views and incorporating the other aspects of the ecosystem and incorporating other aspects of what people are building. I mean, that's easy, relatively speaking, compared to the design and the construction of views. So I think at the end of the day, and it's going to be very interesting to watch over the next couple of weeks because some of the guests we have coming on are very application specific. And that's one thing that in listening to Starkers, he has in a different realm the same mindset. He's like, we build it, okay, if you want to fork it and use it, we don't care. I mean, don't use three speak, take it yourself and use it. It's open source software. That's the thing that they care about, is getting it out there. And so I think the highlight of 2022 was the emergence of threads finally and microblogging on the blockchain. And then, you know, it wasn't a long wait actually for me, unlike you, because I only found out about it maybe mid-year, maybe even later, actually, probably towards the end of the third quarter or second quarter or something like that. But views coming out, I think, was a big step forward because you filled a huge hole in Hive. And again, those who've used it, it's limited because it's only going back 7 days. When it goes back 6 years, it's going to be a totally different world. And so to flip this to what your next question is going to be, what am I most excited about going forward? I think it's the potential of both views and threads, and to see where they're at 12 months from now. Do they follow this everything app type of mindset? How do they grow? How do they expand? What does version 12 or 14 or 18 look like as opposed to these original versions? And don't get me wrong, I'm excited about CyberX, even though I don't know a ton about it. I'm excited about some of these other apps. Certainly, I'm excited about HBD and what Speak Network's building and the financial side of things. But from an app side of things, I think those two are really, really interesting.
Hmm. Obviously the low hanging fruit for me would say, yeah, I'm really bullish on views because obviously, we're building it. I love the threads idea. I kind of selfishly wanted it to be its standalone project. Because it's really tough to brand something two times. So you're telling people go to Leo Views or go to Leo Views. There you go. Go to Leo Finance. By the way, we have this thing on Leo Finance called Views. That's tough on a branding level. I wish it was a standalone app and a completely standalone, because then you would be able to promote that instead of saying come to Leo and then all of these other things we can do. Oh, by the way, we've got Cub Finance, we've got this, we got Polygon, we got all this stuff. The thing I'm really excited about, and you mentioned it earlier, is Like2. I think Like2.
I don't use that, so it's hard for me to get excited, but I can see it.
Well, yeah, it's first of all, I think the big thing, it needs a mobile app. So once it has a mobile app, and then that goes to the whole, we need better onboarding for Hive. But once there's a mobile app for it, people will use it. And when I mean people, I mean the younger generation that aren't into the War and Peace Pulitzer Prize winning articles that Hive is famous for having. It's going to be bite-sized pieces of content that will be rewarded. I don't know if it's going to be layer 2, because then you could, the Puritans that say, oh, we can't use Hive votes for crappy posts and pictures. Like, I'll never understand that too. But that's the thing I think is kind of this really interesting project on Hive, that if they get the mobile app for it, and it's not really them, but more if onboarding is worked on a little bit better and something comes up where we can really ease getting people easily into the blockchain using it, I think Like 2 is going to be potential to be huge. Kind of like if you remember the excitement of Epics, like the excitement of Epics was like because they had the mobile app. Like that's how important the mobile app is for projects like something like that.
Because how do you take pictures? You use your damn phone and then you post it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you got to take a picture of your dog with your phone, transfer it to your computer, or log in with your phone into the desktop app, which may or may not be legible. And then you probably have to use Hive Signer unless you can somehow open it up in the keychain browser. I mean, it's just a major pain in the ass. It's like if there's a mobile app, it's like everything's in there, and it's like, okay, here it is, and share using Like 2, just like Instagram.
Yep. And we know it can happen because we see it with Ecency. I mean, Ecency is a full-featured app for the blockchain that is mobile. They also have a desktop app too, but the mobile is very functional. It's like, back on Steam, there was Partico, which was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, absolutely the greatest thing I've ever used. That's what really hooked me on the legacy chain was using Partico. And then I don't know what happened to the guy. He just disappeared. I was talking to him in Poland, and we had this big old talk. I was just like, he was like, oh, dude, I got all this plans. It was just poof, gone. So I pray Like 2 doesn't go that route, and I pray Ecency doesn't go that route. But I don't think it will. But yeah, that's my thing. And yeah, just like my Path to Fire said in chat there, there's some people specifically around the world that are just loyal as anything to Ecency. That's all they use. They don't use Peak D. They don't use Leo. They don't use Hiveblock. They don't use 3Speak. They use Ecency. And that's the power of mobile. So I'm really hoping in 2023 we see a lot more
what's great?
emphasis.
I don't give a shit. I don't care because it all helps Hive. It's like that's the incredible thing. It's like I was talking about Leo Threads in Leo Threads. And I said, really to make this thing take off, we need other apps. I mean, what would this be like if there were 5 or 6 apps on Hive that were tapped into microblogging? And somebody said, well, I prefer it all through Leo Threads. I'm like, that's stupid. It's like, who cares what app people use? It all helps Hive. Yeah, from the Leo standpoint, yes, the ad revenue and your Leo token, yeah. But from a Hive standpoint, it's like, I don't care. I mean, quite frankly, this is a fun discussion, but if there's stuff that takes off that you and I are totally oblivious about, wonderful. I mean, I posted that on Twitter. It's like, what do you think is going to be the breakthrough game or app? And people are arguing about it. And it's like, who cares? If it's Splinterlands, if it's Leo Finance, if it's Views, if it's Like It Too, if it's CyberX, if it's Ragnarok, if it's something Hash Kings, who cares? I don't need to have stake in it. I got stake in Hive. So it's just a matter of getting these things built out. And yes, mobile is important, and all these apps have to focus on their mobile app. Ecency has mobile. Leo Finance now has mobile. I don't know too many others that have built mobile, and obviously ActiFit's mobile. And ActiFit's one don't overlook because they can incorporate this shit, and they already have mobile built. So they're already ahead of the curve.
Dude, it's funny you mentioned ActiFit. I was looking because I follow their page on Facebook, and I was looking. I was like, this is just like the no-brainer onboarding app for everyday people. Like especially because it's the new year and the New Year's resolution. Like, let's go get fit in 2023. I mean, ActiFit's just this no-brainer. absolute no brainer. And you're right. Like, don't sleep on that. Powerful stuff. It's just, again, it's you don't need to go. That's what the whole point of what I was trying to talk about was, just like, you don't need to go anywhere else. You have it all here on Hive, and who cares which one takes off? I'm here for the ride. If CyberX is it, cool. If Hash Kings is it, cool.
Yeah. I mean,
Don't matter to me.
yeah. And again, I ultimately think the app, because I think this is how the world's going. I believe in Elon. I honestly don't believe that the future is we are going to have a device full of 45 different apps, each of them doing something different. I think
Yeah.
we are going to consolidate that down into one or two or three apps, one or two that handle most of our stuff, and then maybe a couple that are specific things that, maybe have to do with our career or something like that, that's just not general use. And I think it's ultimately going to be the same thing on Hive. Why am I going to go and use? And I think we see this with how many of these applications are talking to ThreeSpeak about integrating video directly into their app. That makes sense. Why should I have to use ThreeSpeak to load up a video that ultimately people view in Leo Finance or Peak D or Ecency or whatever? It makes sense. Like you said, if I record a video on my phone, I want to upload it in Ecency. I don't want to deal with another app and go into ThreeSpeak.tv and having to load it through mobile or load it through the website on my mobile to be able to view it in Ecency. And I think that's a key part going forward, is anything that's on the blockchain or anything that's tied to this ecosystem, it's going to behoove project teams to start incorporating that other stuff. And then when they do their marketing and when they start attracting people in from the outside through whatever hook they use, then all of a sudden it's like, well, now that you're here, look at all we have. We have listeners, we have views, we have this, we have long form content, we got microblogging, we got blah, 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 blah. You can load up your videos, you can do all of this. And it's like, it's all right here in this app. And it's like, oh, wow. Did you know that? And it's like, yeah, I knew that. There's like 6 apps that all do the same thing and have all the same features. But again, that goes back to what we talked about, a year and a half ago. Then the apps are marketing themselves. They're marketing the features that they have, and they're attracting their people in from the outside. And it's like, boom, here it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for us with, view, and I'm just speaking on views just because that's the one we're focusing on. We wanted the content creation side of it to be comments, but how cool would it be down the road where you take up your phone, because that was one of the things with views. We want it to be very mobile friendly. It's it works flawlessly in the keychain app in the browser there. But how cool would it be to just, you wanted to make a comment, you press the comment and there's a little of the camera button, and you can do a little video recording, and boom, hey, here's my comment. We saw that. I forget the app. It might have even been Epics, where they literally had it where you could respond with a video with comments. That's pretty cool. That would be really cool to see, like the mobile apps being able to just have their own little upload tool inside of it, because you see it with Facebook. I mean, Facebook, yeah, you can still embed YouTube videos and they show up as YouTube videos, but they also have the reply as a video. You can do video replies. Same with Twitter, you can do the same thing. So you can embed all this stuff inside the apps, but then the ability to create comments and engagement with video. I mean, obviously that's down the road. I don't know anybody working on it, but that would be cool. So yeah. I'd like to see it. But.
Yeah, I mean, it's all this stuff is, and that's the key. To me with Hive is the cross pollination. I think apps need to tap into what Starkers and Dan are building with ThreeSpeak. I mean, it just makes sense. Video is so common, so powerful, so relied upon. why wouldn't you be able to do it? And you just look at the success of TikTok, and everybody says, well, the social media giants, nobody will take them out. Well, look at what TikTok did. I mean, TikTok found a niche and just cleaned up, and now YouTube and everybody else is trying to chase TikTok in terms of the shorts. That's what I think it takes, and I think Views, as I said before, stands out because it started as something different. It didn't start as a blogging platform. And so I still stand by. I think it's easier for Views to add in, let's say, long form blogging if you wanted at some point, as opposed to Peak D creating views. I think it's a tougher transition. And so that's where I think Views is something that, constructed right with this mindset, could really stand out and clean up because you can sit there and view and you can comment and you can upvote using your Hive upvote. You can thumb up to feed the machine learning engine. That's what you can do today. Where's it going to be in 12 months? Maybe in 12 months, you'll be able to record a video and just upload it directly from Views. Maybe you'll be able to record a video or record audio as a comment. Maybe you'll be able to microblog through Views in different section, and I think all of this incorporated. Then, Ecency evidently went with the internal exchange, add in the wallet functionality of Hive into this stuff. I mean, this is social media and finance. It's all combined together. And if somebody makes a lending platform, tying that into these apps, I mean, that just only makes sense.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I have these dreams of what the mobile app, if we're ever going to build one for Views, because it works flawlessly with the keychain browser, really well actually. I use it quite a bit, but it'd be definitely a dream of mine to get our own mobile app for Views. I mean, we can dream.
Well, I mean, it's all in due time. I mean, a mobile app, I think of all the technical challenges, the mobile app probably is one of the easier ones.
I just work here.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who build mobile apps. There's a lot of people who build websites. There's not a lot of people who build machine learning engines.
Right.
That type of stuff. So
there you go. Anything else on your radar for 2023? Anything? I mean, I'll tell you this. It's going to be a non-secret for me, but I am really excited for getting back into the HBD game and getting some of that juicy 20%. Will the peg hold? Who cares? We have a stable-ish coin. That's all we care about.
The peg holds very well on the internal exchange, and odds are throughout the year, if everything stays like it is, plain and simply, the HBD stabilizer will get more and more money as the DHF in total grows. It'll get more money and we'll be playing with more money. HBD, now you're talking my game. I'm very optimistic. Although with HBD, right now I'm at where we were with Hive a year ago. There's reason for optimism, but I don't know where I can sit here and say, you know what, by June, Views will be a lot further down the road. By June, Leo Threads and microblogging on Hive will be a lot further down the road. I can't say by June where HBD will be because we're still dependent a lot on infrastructure. We're still dependent a lot on Honeycomb. We're still dependent a lot on different things that, quite frankly, I don't know if there's devs really working on it. And so it's going to take a lot more articles, a lot more discussion for people to see the vision before you start to get some of this stuff built. I mean, I think there are people who start to see the vision and understand it and are starting to understand money and how important all of this is. But I don't think we're there yet where you're going to see anything. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're not going to see anything earth-shattering in the first quarter, probably the second quarter of this year upcoming. But it's got amazing potential. And that's one of the things I wrote about is the biggest impact on HBD of 2022 is we had a we had a torrid bear market and HBD held up. Yeah, there were
Yeah, dude.
times on CoinGecko was down at 93, 92, but that's because of Upbit and Bittrex and no liquidity and crap like that.
Mm.
The simple fact of the matter is it held up pretty well, especially on the internal exchange. We have two derivatives now, one on Polygon, one on BSC. Not deep liquidity pools, but there are liquidity pools, and hopefully that builds, and hopefully other people keep creating the derivatives and pushing HBD further and further out for resiliency. Venezuela, there's already retail locations taking HBD and Hive.
Saw that. Yeah.
So that's very promising. And quite frankly, the answer to HBD, much like what we've been talking about this hour, is all these apps incorporating. I mean, people need to understand, make HBD your primary and your main payment token. That's what it's designed for. Your cryptocurrency, your token itself, your Leo, your CTP, your STEM, that's to capture the value of your network, of your platform, of your ecosystem. And that's where we don't want people to spend it. You don't want people to let it go. You want hodlers, because those are the people who are going to make it scarce by holding and saying, listen, pal, you're not getting, you want $7 a month from me? I'll send you something else. I'm not sending you my CTP. I'm not sending you my Leo. It's worth too damn much. I believe it's going to be worth too damn much money down the road. And that's the mindset that people have to have. It's like they're creating value on their main token and just use the base layer coin, which everybody has access to if you have a Hive account. It's not in the hands of anybody else. You don't have to worry about any layer 2. It's all at the base layer, and building the value there. One of the things that builds in the value.
Do you think, and sorry for everyone listening, we might actually talk crypto, not just Hive here for the next couple of minutes, but do you think this is why Bitcoin has never now, yes, Bitcoin has never taken off as a payment processor or payment option because it's just absolutely archaic. It takes forever, and without Lightning, good luck trying to send it anytime quick. But do you think the reason why it's never really taken off as a payment method is because people have in their minds Bitcoin is worth $65,000. Bitcoin is worth $250,000. I'm never going to part with my Bitcoin, even though it's at 16 right now. Like, do you think that hurts Bitcoin? And why people, yeah?
Yes. I mean, there's a number of reasons why it will never replace the US dollar, but this is one of the main reasons, at least psychologically, absolutely. Why would I come to you, John? Let's say you own a car dealership, and I purchased, let's say, I don't know, well, you said $32,000 car. Right. So I'm sitting there talking to you, and you say, okay, how are you going to pay? And you say, we accept Bitcoin. I got Bitcoin. It's like, okay, the total transaction will be 2 Bitcoin. Now, why would I send you 2 Bitcoin to buy a car worth $32,000, which, by the way, is going to depreciate the second I drive it off the lot, when I believe Bitcoin is, let's say, 160,000. I believe it'll be 160,000 per Bitcoin. So that means I'm spending, in my mind, 320,000 for a car that it's 32,000 now. By the time I get to the stoplight down the street, I'm down to 29 grand. And if I'm not going to do that with a car, why the hell am I going to do it with a cup of coffee or a tuna fish sandwich or a TV? It doesn't jive psychologically. And that's the problem with fixed money, is fixed money always tends to pull. And it's like, Michael Saylor talking about Bitcoin being everything and anything. And it's like, well, wait a second. Are you ever going to sell the 140,000 fucking Bitcoin you have? No. How many Satoshis is that? Or whatever it works out to. Guess what? That's 140,000 Bitcoin that the other 7 billion people on the planet can never get a hold of. And that's the problem with it. And that's why you have no monetary elasticity when you deal with something like Bitcoin. And that's why you have a psychological factor. And when people say, when you say, use our token for payments, we're developing use cases. You know what use cases are? That means get rid of this fucker quick. Because it's like, we're telling you, these are all the ways you can get rid of our coin or our token. And it's like, well, is Elon sitting there telling everybody to sell their stock? It's like, he said, no, he's out there saying, listen, not for nothing, but the company is going to be worth a hell of a lot more money down the road than it is today. In other words, he's sitting there saying, hold on to your damn Tesla stock. Tim Cook doesn't come out and say it, but I'm sure Tim Cook has the same message. Yeah, I believe Apple's going to be worth a hell of a lot more down the road than it is today. You're probably best off holding your Apple stock.
Right.
You know, what do you get rid of? You get rid of your US dollars. You get rid of your euros. You get rid of your currencies. You use them to pay for goods and services. And that's where I think cryptocurrency has gotten really confused because the word crypto currencies in it. The only cryptocurrency we should only apply cryptocurrency or currency to stable coins. The rest we should call digital assets, whether it's an NFT, which is like a deed, a title, it's something unique, right, or whether it's a fungible token like Hive, like, you know, whatever, but it's still the same. That's where the price go up. That's where the green candles have to be looked at. And you just tapped into it. The psychology doesn't jive. No wonder people are confused. And they're building out this entire Lightning network. And it's like, well, move your Satoshis and use your Satoshis. And you're right, John. Why the fuck should I move my Bitcoin if I believe Bitcoin's going to be $1 million or 500,000 or 200,000 or 32,000 or whatever I believe it's going up to? Unless I believe it's going down to $8,000, then maybe I want to sell the damn thing. Or maybe I want to go buy a car then. But outside of that, it doesn't make sense. And I think this is the major problem that entities have. And it's the same thing here, to go one step further. Why would I want to give you my Bitcoin or my Ethereum? Think of it in these terms. Why do I want to give you my Bitcoin or my Ethereum if I think that each of them are going to 10x as a transaction fee?
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I want to hold my Bitcoin. I want to hold my Ethereum. See, on Hive, we're not using Hive. We're not even using HBD for transactions. We're using resource credits, which obviously are derived from Hive power, but it's an investment. It's not an expense. So that's, again, where it's like, well, why do I want to use this network? I like my Ethereum. I believe Ethereum is going to go to $60,000 a piece. Why do I want to give you 0.001 Ethereum to pay for a fucking transaction? I don't want to do that. So these are the problems they encounter.
Why do they have? Why do you think maxis and have this thought then that like Bitcoin is going to revolutionize payments for everyone? And
because the maxis the maxis, when it comes to money, they're out of the gold bug mode, and they don't understand money. They don't understand monetary history. They think that because they have a cap on Bitcoin, 21 million, this is, you know, ideal money. It's deflationary money. And it's like, and it comes out of the commodity-backed monetary system when coins were actually made out of metals. But what they don't realize is those systems had inflation too. Some of those systems had massive inflation. Those systems had defaults. Look at Spain in the 1500s. I mean, that was just a series of train wrecks monetarily and economically and financially. And they had about 4 of them in the 1500s. So this is the mindset they have. They don't understand monetary elasticity. They think, oh, the Fed's printing all this money. That's why the prices went up in the last year. And it's like, well, the Fed's been doing quantitative easing for like 10 years and they didn't get any inflation. Japanese did it for 20 years. They didn't get inflation till the economy was shut down. So that's why maxis have this problem. And that's why if you debate a maxi, it's kind of fruitless, because they don't even understand money. They don't even understand how dollars or loonies or euros or yen are even created. And they don't understand that money is a tool. And you often use this analogy. John, if I gave your business $1 million, could you grow your business? Of course.
Right.
Well, why the fuck don't people think, well, if I do this across the economy, it's going to grow the economy? Now, if you have no business skill set and you have the inability to create a business or expand a business, well, guess what? The money going to you is going to be a waste. It's not going to go anywhere. And that's why people need to understand money isn't wealth. Wealth is business and commerce. So these countries that historically have gotten into hyperinflation, the Zimbabwe's, the Venezuela, look at their businesses, look at their economies. They suck. So they don't have the ability to translate that currency into wealth. But if you have, let's say, the Hive network, and we're building this Hive economy, and we have entrepreneurs, we have developers, we have people who have some business sense and people who are looking at building things and engaging in business, and they're a brand. And all of a sudden, you start feeding that with money. Now these people can grow the economy. And now the economy gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And guess what? Now you need a shitload more HBD to keep feeding this economy. And people talk about inflation. It's like, who gives a shit? That 7.5% or 7% inflation in Hive is going to be eaten up if you're growing at 25, 30, 50, 75, 100% a year. It just gets swallowed up. It's not even noticeable. And, you know, you can't tell me for the next 20 years we can't have 30, 40% growth on Hive, judging by the numbers. What are we at? Like 8,000 people a day, if we're lucky, 5,000 people a day. I mean, come on, we could do this for the next 20 years and still not even be sniffing Facebook or YouTube. So, and that's just the damn social media. We're not even talking finance. You know, finance, you get into trillions of dollars. Well, why do you think 8 million HBD at 20% is a problem then? It's not. And it's actually only like 5 million HBD at 20% is a problem. It's not. It's nothing. You know, the problem is we don't have many use cases right now, but you start to develop them throughout the year. You start to grow these different networks. And Cal said something very astute. And I agree with this. And Starkers has hinted upon it. They use this idea of access. Cal basically said people aren't going to be buying Hive in the future. It's going to be applications because they're going to need the resource credits for their users. And so if you think about that and that demand, as we get more people onboarding and as people want to interact with the chain, just think of the economy that creates. Simply, I mean, just using the microblogging. You use that concept. If we get 1 million threads a day and comments and upvotes, how many resource credits does that eat up? I mean, we don't know, but it eats up a shitload. Where those are going to come from? They got to come from somewhere. So that's why the maxis are way off, because they don't understand this simple concept of money and currency and economy and wealth, and everybody trying to solve everything and frame everything from a monetarist point of view is a mistake. You have to look at things from the economic business cycle point of view. And you being a businessman, you understand the business cycle. You have the ebbs and flows in your business. Translate that out to the economy. That's what happens.
There you go. I was just waiting for a when moon comment, and then we'd be perfect. But yeah, dude. I mean, it's crazy, but it's exciting, and this is why I think we all love being in this crypto stuff. It's a new box of chocolates, right?
Well, you know what the most important thing to me, John, is? The answer is very simple, because, and I know Hive's not simple, but once you get some of the basics, you understand your posting key, you understand your active key, you understand keychain. Okay. The solution is just a lot of people doing a lot of simple things. If we could get 100,000 Jimmy Adamises, can you imagine what Hive would look like?
Right.
I mean, that's what it takes, is just people spending time. And you look at what even some of these Hivians, look at the numbers that they're putting up on Twitter. I mean, how many tweets a day? You see some of these people, every third tweet is from. They're living on there. You go into Discord. How many people are in these Discord rooms, some of these general rooms, just sitting there chit-chatting all day long?
Nothing.
Can you imagine all that activity on chain?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I know. I made that post a couple weeks ago about it. I mean, like, get out of Discord, get on chain. I mean, you know, and we are our own worst enemy, but we're also our own solution to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, it's just get on chain and get that number. I mean, what if we were able to go out and promote and say, listen, we got 10 million transactions a day on Hive, and not all of them are financial. These are social media transactions, you know, and then push that to 100 million, then push that to 1 billion. You know, can we handle 1 billion a day? Well, we'd have to get block trades back on to answer that. But from what he said, he ran his little test and he, you know, messed with the block size and then just threw like everything he had at it in terms of the entire blockchain from day one, and it handled it without a hitch. So I'm going to say we can do 100 million a day right now without a problem.
We can do it. I have faith in us. Guys, thank you
the
very
moral
much.
of this show is
use it.
Yeah, whatever activity you're doing, increase it by 10x.
Triple it. Do the 2,000 videos like Tass said instead of the 500 comments. Then you're sailing.
Do both.
Do both. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening for the entire year. We appreciate you. We'll be back on Tuesday, the new year, for part 2 of Starker's little chit chat about Speak Network. Looking forward to that. And guys, have a fantastic new year. Be good to each other.
Do we want to tell them the schedule for
Not
January?
yet. Not yet. We'll do all that. Yeah, we'll do all that next week. So,
is there a reason why you're not yet in it? I guess
not
there is.
yet in it. Yes.
You have some plan up your sleeve.
Yes, exactly. News, gossip, scandal. There you go. Thank you guys again. And
so we have Starker on Tuesday, though.
Starker's on Tuesday. Yes.
That we know. Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
So you'll have to show up Tuesday to find out what the hell's going on after that. I'll show up since I have no idea what the hell's going on in John's mind either. But
perfect. Yeah.
Oh well, I'll find out when I'm supposed to.
Perfect.